After my promotion, I surprised my wife with a trip to Italy. She forgot her passport, said I should go alone. Midway through the flight, I checked our home cameras out of habit and watched her toasting champagne with my best friend in our kitchen. I spent 10 days in Rome alone, smiling. When I got back, they were both gone, but so was everything with my name on it. Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster, but I've got a story I need to tell. Something happened that knocked the wind out of me and I don't really know what to do with it, except maybe throw it into the void and see if it echoes. Strap in because this one's... Yeah, I, 33M, recently got promoted. Senior project architect. It's been years of 70-hour weeks, brutal clients, impossible deadlines. Basically clawing my way up with no real backup. My wife, Melanie, 31F, was supportive through most of it, or so I thought. We've been together 8 years, married for 5. You know that comfortable kind of marriage where you think everything's more or less fine. That was us. Or that's what I believed. So when I got the promotion, I decided to surprise her with something big. She's always dreamed of going to Italy, so I secretly planned a 10-day trip to Rome, Florence, and Venice. Booked everything, flights, boutique hotels, museum passes, the works. I even got her time off cleared with her job, small marketing firm. She works remote mostly. When I told her, she seemed off, like her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. I chalked it up to stress or surprise. She's not great with spontaneity, so I figured she'd warm up to it. We were supposed to fly out on a Friday. The night before, I noticed her pacing. I asked her if everything was okay and she just hugged me and said, "You've worked so hard. You deserve this." Morning of, we're packing, grabbing coffee, joking around, and I'm actually excited, for once not thinking about deadlines or drawing sets. Then right before we leave for the airport, Melanie freezes at the front door. She says she forgot her passport. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. I asked where it was. She mumbles something about cleaning the study and maybe tossing it accidentally. She insists I still go, that the whole trip is non-refundable and it would be a waste for us both to miss it. I argued. She insisted harder, started crying, saying she'd ruined everything. I stood there, holding our luggage, looking at her curled on the couch like a broken doll. Something in my gut twisted, but I told myself she wouldn't lie about this. So I went. I actually went. The flight was 9 hours and I couldn't sleep. Somewhere over the Atlantic, I got bored and connected to the in-flight Wi-Fi. Out of habit, I opened the app for our home security cameras. We have a few porch, hallway, kitchen, mostly for packages and the dog. We don't have kids. I tapped into the kitchen feed and there she was, Melanie, in our kitchen, 2 glasses of champagne. She was toasting with someone. That someone was my best friend, Eric. You ever feel your whole body go cold? Like every muscle just locks? There they were, laughing, toasting. Her in the sweater I bought for her birthday. Him in my hoodie. They danced. She sat on the counter. He stood between her knees. He kissed her neck. I shut the app. The rest of the flight felt like a dream. A bad one. Like I was stuck in molasses, barely breathing. I landed in Rome at 7 a.m. local time. I didn't text her. I didn't say a word. I turned off my phone and just existed. Walked out of the airport with a carry-on and a passport, and a hollow pit where my chest should have been. And then, I did something I didn't expect. I started smiling. I spent the next 10 days walking every cobblestone street I could find. Threw coins into fountains. Took selfies in alleyways. Got wine drunk on rooftops. Ate pasta I couldn't pronounce. Made friends with this Australian couple at a cooking class who thought I was a food blogger because I wouldn't stop taking pictures. I played the part. It was easier than thinking. I kept smiling. Until I got home. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I knew she wasn't there before I even stepped inside. Then I saw it. Her closet, empty. Every picture with me in it, gone. My tools, vanished. My office space, cleared out. Every single thing in the house with my name on it had disappeared. Even the fancy blender I bought. I walked around in this eerie silence, seeing shadows of a life I thought I understood. Eric's hoodie was gone. So was our dog. My dog. She took him. No note. No text. No email. Just erased. And still I smiled. Because I knew something they didn't. I'd seen the footage. I'd backed it up. I'd already sent copies to my email. To my lawyer cousin. To my work account. They thought they pulled off a clean break. But I saw it. I knew. And now I'm thinking, What do I do? Do I play it cool? Reach out? Do I go nuclear? Or do I just walk away, take the win, and let them think they got away with it? Edit 1. Wow. Didn't expect this kind of response. Yes, I've talked to a lawyer. Several, actually. Turns out leaving someone with zero warning after betraying them in a marital home can backfire. Especially when you leave digital footprints and take joint property. More on that soon. Update coming. Update 1. So, I didn't expect this to blow up. Reading your comments, from support to nuke them from orbit strategies, has been oddly therapeutic. Like I've got thousands of internet siblings yelling, "Dude!" N.O. all at once. So thank you. Now where were we? Oh right, Rome. Betrayal. And a very empty house. When I got back, after my solo honeymoon, I took 2 days to just absorb the quiet. You ever sit in your living room and realize you can hear the fridge humming because there's nothing else? Not even a dog collar jingling? It's weird how fast your brain tries to normalize betrayal. I caught myself loading the dishwasher like nothing happened. Then I saw one of her coffee mugs in the cabinet and nearly threw it through the wall. I didn't, though. I placed it carefully in a box marked evidence. On day 3, I lawyered up. Let's call her Nadia. Imagine if a flamethrower wore heels and had a law degree. I showed her the footage from the kitchen camera. She watched in silence. Didn't flinch. Then she turned to me and said, "Let's ruin them politely." Turns out Melanie and I had a prenup. Nothing wild. Just a basic agreement that we wouldn't touch each other's individual businesses or inheritances. But there was a clause. Infidelity voids asset protections. Melanie's lawyer, apparently, missed that memo when she decided to play Ocean's 11 with my wardrobe, finances, and emotional well-being. Now here's where things get brutal. I did some digging. Eric, my best man at our wedding, co-signed a lease with her. On a condo. 3 days before I left for Rome. Let me repeat that. While I was buying museum passes and planning a rooftop anniversary dinner, she was signing a lease with my best friend. I found the listing through a real estate site. Melanie's name was on the digital paperwork, which she signed from our shared IP address. Sloppy. And Eric? This idiot used his company email for the lease. I contacted a friend in HR over there. Purely informational. Want the twist? Eric's company has a strict non-fraternization policy. As in, no relationships with clients, partners, or drumroll spouses of coworkers or professional collaborators. Guess who was my company's lead structural engineer on 3 major projects last year? Guess who signed non-disclosure agreements to that effect? Guess who just got reported to corporate legal for ethical breach and professional misconduct? You can't imagine how satisfying it was to send that email. You think that's the end? Nah, because here's what Melanie didn't know. The house is not ours. It's mine. I bought it 7 years ago before we got married, inherited the down payment from my grandmother, and I never put her name on the title. She thought her moving in gave her claim. But that prenup kicked in hard. Legally, she abandoned the marital home, which means when she moved out without warning and took shared property, including my dog, I had every right to file for spousal abandonment, property theft, and an emergency motion to have the dog returned, since he's microchipped in my name. So what did I do? I sent a process server to the condo on a Sunday morning while they were eating breakfast. I know this because the server texted me. Dude answered the door shirtless, holding a mimosa, looked confused. Girl in the background dropped a fork. Classic. The motion was approved. My dog comes home this week. But I wasn't done. I called Eric's fiancé. Yep, he was engaged. Her name's Hannah. Sweet girl. We only met once at a group dinner. I got her number off an old group chat and sent her a message. Hey, I think we need to talk. Do you know where Eric was last Friday? We met for coffee. I showed her the footage, the emails, the lease. She cried. Then she laughed. Then she asked me if I wanted to send joint Christmas cards with the footage to both their parents. So now, Melanie and Eric are jobless. He's under review. Possibly homeless. Her name's on the lease, not his. And about to face a legal case so thorough, they'll need therapy just to understand the table of contents. Me? I got my dog back. My house. My job. And a brand new Italian leather jacket I bought for myself as a congrats. You're not the sucker they thought you were present. Oh, and I changed the locks. Edit 1, to the person who said play it smart. Make them wonder what you'll do next. Buddy, that became my religion. Update 2. I wasn't planning to post again this soon. But things escalated. And by things, I mean Melanie showing up on my doorstep yesterday afternoon like we were about to have a casual little chat. Like she didn't ghost me to play house with Eric. Like she didn't rob me blind and toast her new life with my champagne. Let's rewind. I was in the garage, reorganizing the workbench like a man who definitely isn't repressing his emotions through excessive tool storage. I had the garage door open, music going thanks, Springsteen. Dog asleep on the mat next to me. Total peace. Then I heard it. That high-pitched, sing-song voice I hadn't heard in weeks. The one that always meant she was about to ask for something. Or lie. I turned and there she was. Melanie. Looking not great, honestly. Messy bun. Oversized hoodie, not mine. And the same yoga pants she used to wear when she was hungover. No makeup. Puffy eyes. She was holding something, looked like a manila folder. My first instinct was to close the garage and pretend I didn't hear her. But I didn't. I stood there. She walked up like nothing had happened. Gave the dog this sad little "hey buddy," and he growled. Not barked. Growled. Tail stiff, body between us. My good boy. Melanie kind of flinched but kept going. Can we talk? She asked. Please. I didn't say anything. Just waited. She held out the folder. I brought some paperwork. I thought we could maybe sort things out. I know things got out of control. Out of control? You left me, lied to my face, stole my dog, tried to take my house, my stuff, half my career, and moved in with my best friend. Out of control is when you forget to pick up milk. This was calculated. I took the folder, didn't open it. Why now? She looked down. Eric's gone. Oh? Gone where? I asked, already knowing. He broke up with me, she whispered. Said he couldn't handle the pressure. That we moved too fast. His company let him go. His fiancée posted about it all. His parents called me a homewrecker. She stopped. Her voice cracked. He left town. Blocked me on everything. And just like that, the Jenga tower of bad decisions she built on my back finally collapsed. I waited. Let the silence stretch. She wiped her eyes, stepped closer. I'm sorry, she said. I made a mistake. Panicked. Things felt stale with us and Eric. He made me feel noticed again. I know it was wrong. I lost sight of what mattered. But I still love you. I still want us. Let me tell you something about rage. It's not loud. Not always. Sometimes it's quiet. It's cold. Focused. I smiled. You love me, I repeated. Yes, she said, stepping closer. So you love me. But you accidentally moved in with Eric, emptied our savings, tried to take half my business, and kidnapped my dog? I didn't kidnap. You toasted to it, Melanie. That landed. She went quiet. I set the folder on the workbench. I have to admit, I've been wondering how this would go. What your angle would be. Guilt? Nostalgia? Desperation? She said nothing. Then I stepped aside and nodded toward the driveway. Let's make this easy. Get in your car and go. She looked stunned. That's it? No conversation? No chance? After everything we've been through? I actually laughed. You mean the part where I paid your bills for 5 years while you found yourself? The part where I celebrated your every win while you quietly prepped for my downfall? Her voice went high again. It wasn't like that. I was confused. Eric. He manipulated me too. Then you deserve each other. But I don't have him. There it was. Not, I love you. Not, I'm truly sorry. Just, I don't have him. I picked up the folder, flipped through it. It was a handwritten list of items she wanted to collect. A few clothes, her wedding dress, jewelry. Also on the list, espresso machine, my birthday gift from my mom, outdoor heater, which I installed myself, and my bike. I whistled. You really thought you could waltz back in and just grab a few souvenirs from the life you torched? She started crying. I don't know where else to go. And here's the brutal part. Reddit. I believed her. Not because she was sincere, but because she'd finally run out of people to use. I handed the folder back. You'll hear from my lawyer. Any item you paid for, provide receipts. If not, don't show up again. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the person in front of her. I don't even know who you are anymore, she whispered. I looked down at the dog, then back at her. That's funny, because for the first time in years, I do. Then I turned and walked back inside. Locked the garage behind me. Didn't look back. Edit 1. Just heard from my lawyer. Her lawyer dropped her as a client after she tried to argue the footage was deep-faked. Nadia laughed so hard she nearly forwarded me the audio recording. We're drafting the asset protection enforcement letter now. Next time she shows up, it'll be with a restraining order in hand. I didn't start this war, but I'll damn sure finish it. Update 3. I wasn't planning to post again. I thought the last update was the end of it. But life had one more twist for me. One that still doesn't feel real as I type this. The court date came. It was supposed to be straightforward. Asset enforcement, pet custody, yes, that's a thing, and closure. Nadia had everything lined up. Emails, footage, financial records. The judge was no nonsense. We were winning before we even spoke. Melanie showed up alone. No lawyer, no support. She looked smaller. Not physically, just deflated. Like all the sharp edges had collapsed inward. When she saw me, her face crumbled for half a second. Then she composed herself and sat down like she hadn't rehearsed every move. Then something unexpected happened. Right before the hearing began, a woman stood up from the back row. Hannah, Eric's ex-fiancée. She asked to address the court as a witness. Nadia had filed her statement in advance, but we didn't expect her to show. She took the stand and calmly, quietly told the judge about how Melanie had contacted her after the breakup, how Melanie admitted she was planning to leave Eric, too, that he'd ruined everything, and she had no one left. She said Melanie told her she regretted everything, that it wasn't about love, not even about me, just fear. Fear of being ordinary. Fear of being invisible. When the judge asked if she was seeking damages, Hannah shook her head. No, Your Honor. I just want the truth on record, for the people they left behind. Melanie didn't say a word, didn't look up, just sat there, hands folded, as the judge signed over full pet custody to me, denied her asset claims, and upheld every motion we filed. It was over. I walked out feeling nothing. No triumph. No peace. Just this cold emptiness. Like the ashes after a fire. Then, 2 nights ago, I got a call. It was Eric's mother. She didn't yell. Didn't curse. She just said, I hope you understand now why we never wanted her in his life. I was too stunned to respond. Then she hung up. I found out the next day, Eric checked into a wellness clinic out west. Quiet, remote, expensive. Melanie? She was evicted from the condo last week. Her name was on the lease and she missed 3 rent payments. Eric had pulled out completely. Her accounts were frozen due to legal disputes with his ex-fiancée. And then I saw it, an old photo of us, still tagged on her now deactivated Instagram. The caption, forever. Even on the worst days. The comments were disabled. She had nowhere left to go. The tragedy isn't that she betrayed me. It's that she destroyed herself to try to become someone else, and lost everything in the process. Cruel? Maybe. Deserved? Probably. But tragic? Without question. Last night, I lit a fire in the backyard. Burned the last of the pictures. Our wedding invite. Her handwritten vows. That travel brochure for Rome with our names scribbled on it. I sat with the dog, sipping whiskey, watching it all turn to smoke. And for the first time I let myself cry. Not for her. Not even for us. But for the man I used to be. The one who believed love was enough to keep someone from sinking. Some people drown you just so they don't have to go under alone. Goodbye, Melanie. This is the last time your name will live in my story. I'm done. I'm free. And tomorrow, I start building something new. Alone. But solid. This time, the foundation won't crack.